Greg. This is the program submission form for the Philly can.
Oh, that's Philly can.
Yeah,
okay.
Philly can again. Come on, Philly, you could do it. So.
Good going, Greg. This, I am so fond of this. We sent this organization, the Christian Vegetarian Society, isn't that a sweetie? And we sent them $50, and I want to send them, we sent them another $50 last week. That's the second time we sent them money. And I want to read this to folks again. If you would show them the cover and just read them the first page. Would you?
Yeah, sure. Show them the cover and read the first page, yeah? Okay. So the address, okay, I got the address there. This is a, let's see, how would you describe this here? Okay. This is the Christian Vegetarian Association. Yes, this is from the Christian Vegetarian Association right here. And I'm gonna show their flyer here to you. And it says, a joyful, compassionate eating, honoring God's creation.
Nice. That's what you have to think of, honoring God's creation.
Yeah, in many ways, moving toward a plant-based diet glorifies God. It makes us healthier, happier servants of God, and it avoids the animal cruelty, environmental damage, and human misery associated with the factory farms. Here this shows inside the states God's animals. Jesus said that God feeds the birds of the air. Matthew 6:26, and does not forget sparrows. Luke. In their own ways, God's creatures demonstrate a full range of feelings: curiosity, pleasure, playfulness, love, joy, fear, anger, pain, and suffering. Cows play and enjoy each other's company. Pigs are intelligent and curious, and they form bonds with one another and other species. Chickens have distinct personalities and can learn their names. In many ways, the animals people eat are just like the animals we love as pets. And yet, in the United States, nearly all farmed animals live in intensively crowded, dirty, smelly, windowless factory farms where animals suffer greatly. Let's see, what does the Bible say about meat? The Bible does not prohibit eating meat in all circumstances, but most Christians today have easy access to a wide variety of healthful plant foods. Indeed, the Bible depicts a plant-based diet as God's ideal. In Eden, all creatures lived peacefully, and God told humans to consume only plant foods. In Genesis chapter 1:29 to 31.
We put that in the advertiser 2 weeks ago, Genesis 1:29.
We did, yeah. Several prophecies, such as Isaiah 11, chapter 11:6, foresee a return to this vegetarian world.
We put that in the advertiser, and it was in yesterday, Greg.
Yeah.
The entire thing.
Yeah.
That we put in.
Well, that's
it wasn't
great.
Truncated.
Yeah, they foresee a return to the vegetarian world where all creatures and a little child coexist peacefully. Accordingly, seeking this harmonious world, Jesus taught us to pray, "Thy will be done on earth as in heaven."
And the best part of that one is, give them this day their daily bread. And we do that twice a day, don't we?
Yeah, we sure. Yeah, we do. We definitely.
Okay, is that the first page?
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Next to our last subject is going to be the Bible.
Put this on here, so that goes right in there.
Oh, thank you.
There, so.
Is the New Testament, Greg, and
there you go.
Thank you. And would you read? I read this morning to them. Is it Philippians 2:15?
Yeah, that's
okay.
What
What's
says.
The next one below that?
The next one, it says, let's see. I think it begins with a M.
Can you read me the letters?
I think it begins with a M there, but
how about an M for Matthew? Is it Matthew?
It says chapter 6:15.
Is it Matthew?
Chapter 16 and 15. It says there.
For Matthew, dear.
Yeah, it must be.
All right, go to Matthew.
Maybe it could be.
Matthew's the first book in the Bible, so we'll go from Philippians to Matthew. Can you find chapter 16? Here's Matthew.
Oh, maybe it says Mark. I'm not sure if it's Mark or not.
Oh, you think maybe it does?
I'm not quite. I can't read what
No,
this
Matthew
says.
1 isn't that good. It's Jesus' autobiography.
It could be Mark,
I mean,
maybe.
it's genealogy.
It says Mark, and then it says John, and then.
Well, what, are we going to give up on this one? Matthew 1?
16.
Or is that
15,
Matthew?
It says.
Tell me what you think it is.
Oh, it says. It says. It says a 10 with a colon 15 there. It says 10, 15.
And you think it's Matthew?
Yes. I
Okay,
think so.
go to
Yeah.
chapter 10.
And
You'll see the chapters at the top of the page. It's a big jump on
All right,
chapter 10, so hold on.
oh, okay. Matthew. Oh, I see. Chapter 10.
Yeah, you want chapter 10, verse 15.
10, verse 15. Chapter 10, verse 15. It says, here it is, 10. It says, here it says, verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment. And I'm not sure if that's the right one. That's is it 15 there?
That's what it
16.
says?
Yeah, that's what that says.
Oh, I guess we missed on that one. Let's go to the next one. Is that more legible?
Well, this says John. This is John 16, 23.
Yeah, that's a famous one. John is 4 books up. There's Matthew, Mark,
Oh, I
Luke,
see.
and John. Keep going. You got John?
There's Luke and here's John right here. Yeah?
Okay.
16, 23.
That will probably be a good one.
So,
It was my writing.
all right, there's 16. 16 is over here. So, John 15, 16. All right, here's 16 right here.
Okay, and what verse?
And it says, I think it says 23 there.
Okay.
23. 16. Let me see if this goes on here. Here it is. It says, and in the day ye shall ask me nothing, it says. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he will give it you.
Oh, great. Say it again, please.
Let me see, I'll start out with the one here. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you. And in that day ye shall ask me nothing. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he will give it you. Hitherto have ye asked nothing in my name. Ask and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full, it says.
That's it. Do you notice that in every Christian prayer always ends with, in Jesus' name we pray, because that's what he said to do. Whatsoever you ask in my name, ye shall receive. I believe that. Well, let me put it this way. I don't ask, because we have a good daddy. We have a very good daddy. We have a daddy that you don't even have to ask. Your daddy gives it to you. Your daddy sees what you need, and your daddy gives it to you. You don't even have to ask. That's why I never do supplication. That's why I never do supplication. I don't ask, because I know that I will have everything I need. And There was another point there. What was it? Anything that you really want and you want to work for, I think you will receive. I have never been turned down. Everything take Hartford, for instance. Okay, take Pittsfield, for instance. Take Manchester, Connecticut. I never asked. I just worked at it, and it came.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Manchester, Connecticut was 6 years. Remember, we went down there 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, Manchester, Connecticut, we did. Yeah.
You remember Pittsfield, Massachusetts? How many times we go over there? 12.
Yeah, we went to Pittsfield a lot of times.
They come. They come. So those were good passages. Tell the folks what they were. John what? 16:27?
It says,
right here?
yeah, John, it says John, yeah, John 16:23.
23. John 16:23. Last thing, Greg, if again.
And also, all right, so just, you want me to read these all? Okay.
Would you please?
This is a, this is a list. I'll show it to the camera there.
Good for you.
It's a list of the 10 Commandments in language so that children can understand that. And I'm gonna read these to you. I'm gonna start out with number 10 and count down. Be happy with what you have. Don't wish for other people's things. Number 9, always tell the truth. Number 8, don't take anything that isn't yours. Number 7, always be faithful to your husband or wife. Number 6, never hurt anyone. Number 5, love and respect your mom and dad. Number 4, honor the Lord by resting on the 7th day of the week. Number 3, always say God's name with love and respect. Number 2, don't make anything in your life more important than God. And number 1, love God more than you love anything else. That's number 1. So. And
I love those.
Right there, so I'll show you that.
They're just as good right upside down, Greg, as they are right side up. That second commandment, don't make anything in your life more important than God. Don't make anything in your life more important than helping others. And then what's the first commandment?
Yeah, love God more than you love anything else.
Love God more than you love anything else.
And that's that. So.
Well, I'm ready to say goodbye and go on and do the details today. Are you going to the museum today and work?
I would like to stop by during the course of today. Sometime I would like to stop.
Okay. So are you ready to say goodbye?
And, yeah, I'm ready to say goodbye. And yeah, thank you, Glendora, for giving me this opportunity to help you out and all. And all right, okay. Okay, we'll see you later. See you again.
I have to thank you, Greg. Our closing hymn will be, Lord, dismiss us with thy blessing, fill our hearts with joy and peace. Let us each thy love possessing, triumph in redeeming grace. Oh, refresh us, traveling through this universe. Folks, we have a new friend. His name is Turner. His last name is Turnip. Turner Turnip. And today Gregory's going to give him a brand new pot and brand new potting soil. And look at the babies he's going to have and the family he's going to grow. Turner Turnip. Folks, let's go over to the magnifier. And I have to turn out all the lights so we can see the magnifier. And let's see if we can bring up the Bible passage onto the screen. This used to be Sunday morning communion, remember? Wasn't that about a year ago? And we changed the name. It's the way the business corporations change their name after they've done something wrong. We changed the name to Glendora Soul to Soul. Now let's try to find a good Bible passage, such as the one we found yesterday. Oh, that was a real sender, knockout. Okay, what do we got? We've done Colossians 1:27. We did Philippians 2:15. Oh, that was a very good one. And Gregory and I couldn't read this one. I think it's Matthew. I think that's pretty clear. Matthew 10:15. You want to try it? Or did we do that? John 16:23 we did. Okay, here's John 20:19. Let's try that one. Can you remember that? John 20:19. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Here's John 16, 18, 20. And what was it? 20 what? John 20:19. Do you have a Bible? I would open it if I were you and go along with us. 17, 18, and 19. Then the same day at evening, being the first day of the week, I know what this is going into, when the doors were shut, where the disciples were. It's not John. Where? No good, folks. No, let's try again. Is that John 20:19? Yeah. No. Try another one. Colossians 3:15. Okay, where's Colossians? You go by John, you go by the Acts, you go by Romans. Okay, wait a second. Go by Corinthians. Hold on. Galatians. Ephesians. Go by that. And they're all good. These are good. Ephesians. How are you this morning? Here's Colossians. Paul's epistle to Colossus. That was a great big statue at the entrance to the port. All right, what was it? Colossians what? 3:15. God of grace and God of glory, on thy people for thy power. I think I found it, folks. Forbearing, and the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also you are called in one body. Oh, this is good. And be you thankful. Now this is good. Go back to let the peace of God rule in your heart. I would like you to have that peace of God ruling in your heart. And I would like to have you right now, today, where you are, here and now, go to a quiet place alone and listen to the God that is inside of you. The God that is inside of you is your soul. And that's everything there is, and that's all that matters. I would like you here and now, this very day, go by yourself alone and listen to the God that's inside of you, your soul, and you will have that peace, because your soul will remind you. You know this already. It's nothing new. Your soul will remind you how to live, and that is helping others and the complete erasure of ego and selfishness and evil. And your soul will tell you how to live, and you will come out with the energy to live that way. And last night, folks, I prayed for you, and to me that is moments of no self and transfusions where I send you my own vitality, my own health, my own impetus, that you will do this, that you will go by yourself and pay attention to what the soul is telling you. There's nothing else that will do it. You think a vacation will do it? You think a trip around the world will do it? No, it will not. You think shopping in the stores will do it? Going out and eating will do it? Bowling? No, it will not. The only thing that will do it is for you to go alone and listen to your soul. All right, let's start again. Colossians chapter 3, verse what? Thank you, 15. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts. Good for you, Paul. You really knew how to say things and articulate them. To the which also you are called. Now you know you are called, and you will be called, and you will be nagged at until you do this. And you will not have the peace until you do this. Well, what about yourself, Glendora? You think you're perfect? You think you do this? No, I need your help too. No, I try, and I've worked at it for years, and I think there's some progress. Which also you are called in one body. Get that, one body? Now let's talk about oneness. What is God? God is the universe. God is the cosmos. God is everything there is. There is only God. Holy, holy, holy. Though the darkness hide God. That means though the selfishness and the ego hide God. Through the eye of sinful flesh. That means through the eye of selfishness and evil. Thy glory we can see now. Only God is holy. That's right. And remember, we are all some of God. This whole unified body, Paul just called it the one body, is all of us together in some kind of an emulsion, something or other. A unified body. Okay, I'm going back to the start. Colossians 3:15. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts, to the which also you are called. In one body. We're one. We're all together, folks. We're one. Sin not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee, dear friend. And be you thankful. Yeah. I guess we got that. I guess that. Now, I'll go over, and we'll go over the God meditation, hymn, and prayer together. God of grace and God of glory, on thy people pour thy power. Crown thine ancient church's story, bring to bud her glorious flower. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage, for the facing of this hour, for the facing of this hour. And this hour is going to be our attempt to have the peace rule in our hearts. God, meditate Him in prayer. This is November 19th. And the weather is a joy. It's so warm. November can be a little bit like fall, or it can be like winter. Well, today it's like fall. And there's a sweet, caressing, friendly breeze that just puts its arms around you and hugs you. And it's so pleasant. Where is your computer phone? You could tell people what the temperature is. Do nothing but help others. Do nothing but help others. That's really what the first commandment is that Moses handed down. Don't make anything more important than God. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Someday we will have to discuss and find out what heart, soul, and mind is. The psychologists don't know. I don't know anybody who knows. Do you? Yes? If we go by ourselves and let peace rule in our hearts, we will find somebody who knows that. So what is the mind, soul, and body? What is thought? What is brain? Nervous system. So, do nothing but help others and have a ball. And have a wonderful time doing it. The fun of it. And what is God? What's your concept of God? How do you see God? What's your description of God? Have you struggled with this for years and years? I have. And it's all over now. I see God very clearly. And I know what God is. God is helping others. That I can see. That I can relate to, that I can talk to. That I can be in company with. How do you see Jesus? I see Jesus as helping others. How do you see Jesus? Now I know what Jesus is. I don't need a whole lot of hoopla. I don't need a whole lot of ritual. Very easy. Jesus is helping others. When I help others, I see Jesus. So that's describing our concept of Jesus. Who else will give you the answer? Going alone in your sanctuary and listening and conversing with the God that is inside of you, which is continuous with the God that's inside of me, which is continuous with all the other things in this earth we know. So Sunday morning, Glendora, soul to soul. Now this hymn, what is God of grace? What's that? What's God of grace? You tell me, would you please? God of grace is the feeling you get when you do help others. The fun of it. That's the God of grace. May the grace of God, may the fellowship of the Holy Spirit, may the love of Jesus Christ be with you and yours. You love. Amen. God of grace and God of glory. Now it's obvious what glory is. You tell me. You help me. On thy people pour thy power. Who are thy people? All of us. All of us together. All over the universe. Pour thy power. You know what the power is. There's only one place power comes from. Helping others. Ask Ruth Lilly. She knows. Ask Sandy McLean. She knows. Ask Sue Casey. She will tell you the same thing. Ask Pat Nichols. She will tell you the same thing. Crown thine ancient church's story, bring to bud her glorious flower. Does that ever apply to us this morning? Bring to bud her glorious flower. Because of whom? Turner Turnip. We're going to bring to bud his glorious flower. Gregory bought him a whole bag of potting soil yesterday, and I had a very expensive pot that I buy from, everything you buy from Ace, of course, is expensive. And so I have that expensive pot. We'll fill it up with brand new potting soil and cover him over with it and see his beautiful sprouts and watch him grow every day. What a wonder. That you never can understand and that you never can explain, but you can feel its wonder. It excites wonder. What? Plants, growth, the body, all of our organics. Esteem. Wondering. Oh. Marveling esteem, wondering esteem, our joy over it, our applause over it. Crown 9. Give. What is it? God of grace and God of glory, on thy people pour thy power. Crown thine ancient church's story, bring to bud her glorious flower. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage for the facing of this hour. And this hour is the chat with Glendora, and you need courage and wisdom to face that. But this courage and this wisdom, where's it going to come from? You got it. Your alone time with God in your sanctuary with the soul that's inside of you. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage for the facing of this hour, for the facing of this hour. So, let's God meditate Him in prayer, our Bible and our hymn. And what is next? I think the jokes. And I'm so glad that you helped us decide to go back and look at the original manuscript of the jokes collection instead of the one that was truncated on index cards to make it easy to pass them on over TV. I'm glad we went back to the original manuscript because there's tons of jokes there that I haven't told you for 15 or 20 years. So let me do that now. I have to go over the magnifier to see them. I used to be able to see them sitting here, and that was convenient. So I'll go over to the magnifier, and I will find you another page of jokes. God of grace and God of glory, and let the peace rule in your hearts as you have been called. From thine ancient church's story, bring to bud her glorious flower. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage. Now folks, is it okay with you if we change the order of worship? We were going to do jokes next, but could we please do words next? And we'll start with abandon. And abandon means unresisting self-surrender to vice. And dissolute means utter laxity of morals. And profligate means what is it? The throwing off of all restraint. And something else. And reprobate means complete insensitivity to reproof. Oh, wait a second. Here's profligate. Hold it. Open and shameless disregard of decency. Okie dokie. Abash. To destroy the self-possession of. To destroy the self-possession of. That is loaded with meaning. To humiliate. To mortify. To shame. Abates, to cast down or reduce, as in rank, office, estimation. To debase, degrade, humble. Abbreviate. We could do a lot of that maybe. Make it shorter. Abecedarian, somebody who likes to put things in ABC order, alphabetical order. Abdicate, that means to give up, to step down. Aberration, departure from, a deviation from what is right, natural, and moral. Now, abet. This could be good or bad. Tell me what you think. To aid, advocate, assist, back, connive, countenance, encouraged, egg on, foment, help, instigate, incite, set upon, second, support, and sustain, and uphold. Very interesting word. That's something you can do when you go to your sanctuary alone to listen to your soul. Words are very good stimuli to very sensitive meditations. Now I'll come over and we'll do the jokes. That's an interesting way to go to black. Turn out the light. So, folks, do you know something? You know how far back these jokes went? As I told you, I went to the original manuscript of the joke collection. Guess where these jokes, what year they were? 1987. 1987! $30 years? So it's a good thing we decided not to give up on the jokes. You may or may not think so. Okay. Well, this is a true story. I had a scrapbook. When I was a teenager, I was a fan of Bob Hope. And I had 4 huge scrapbooks. That's the way they were in those days. They sold them in the 5 and dime store. And I had given Bob Hope 3 of them when I worked for NBC Hollywood. And he would come there and do his radio shows, not the television shows. And I was a script service girl, running the mimeograph machine in the script service department. And I had given him 3 of those scrapbooks. Then I had another one, and he showed up in Westchester County, New York, in New Rochelle, at a very fancy yacht club. And I went there to see him. And I asked him, he was walking with a man in front of him, and I was behind him, so that we were sort of in a queue. And I said, do you want this 4th and last scrapbook? He says, yes, I do. He says, give it to Bill Faith. And he pointed to the man in front of him. So as we proceeded to walk together in a queue, there was faith, there was hope, and there was charity. And this is a true story. A man told me that he and his wife went and bought a new computer and they brought it home. And Friday night, their son came home from Boston, Route 128, where their son was a computer geek, an advanced computer operator. When their son walked into the door, he looked at the computer that they had just bought, and he said, where'd you get this old thing? Now Adam, God made Adam. And he looked him all over. And he said, I can do better than that. And that's when he made woman. The young man was always talking about his hometown, how great it was. And he was asked, well, were any big men ever born in your hometown? He says, no, just babies. Do you know about the snake charmer who married the undertaker? Their towels were marked Hiss and Hearse. And what did one snowman say to another? I haven't seen our friend Herb around here, have you? The other one says, no, not since he left for Florida. What do you think of solar energy? A daddy was asked. And he says, well, my son spends more time on the beach than anybody I know, and he has less energy than anybody I know. The ideal speaker at a banquet is somebody who has to catch a plane in 20 minutes. And a master of ceremony is somebody who eats a meal he doesn't want and tells stories he can't remember to people who've already heard them. Do you know the Sunoco rule for public speaking? It's good to remember this. If you don't strike oil in 15 minutes, stop drilling. And I don't know what it is, folks, that makes my meetings of the Glendora Vegetarian Club so dull. I don't know what it is that makes them so dull. But whatever it is, it always works. And what's the difference between expressing your opinion? What's the difference between democracy and being married? What is the difference between democracy and being married? Expressing your opinion. That brings us down to Glendora, Care and Share. I want to know what you did yesterday. I was on the telephone for many, many happy minutes yesterday, listening to Ruth Lilly in Brooklyn, who tells me what she does. It's Care and Share. Pat Nichols has been looking for gravy, and the gravy she brought me from the health food store was very, very good, folks. It was very tasty, but it only made 1 or 2 servings, and that's no good when you have the Glendora Vegetarian Club, right? Or when you go to another one. And then she was just about to leave the store, and she called me with great excitement, and she says, I found something. It's tofurkey gravy, it's frozen, and it will serve 7 people. So I need about 7 times that. And I said, okay, get 1. It was $3.95. Get 1, see how we like it. She says, okay. And that was the end of it, and I would expect to see her in 2 or 3 days. But she was so excited on her way home, although she goes by my house pretty much, she brought it. Pat Nichols gets a star for helping others. Consistently, regularly. I called my friend Sue Casey out in Colorado on vacation. She lives 2 or 3 doors down. And she told me what she was doing. Called my friend Suzanne McCormick, and she did her show and tell. Now will you do that, please? What happened here? Well, I guess the expenses into the book, the bookkeeping, we went through November the 18th of 2016 and saw what interesting and blessing things were there, interesting things and blessings there. Then we went to the Glendora Vegetarian Club, and we entered the money spent there. It's about $19,600. The hours are about 850, and the number of pages is about 700. And then we went to the think drawer, and there was nothing there to think about. And we entered the log for the Happy House 3, what great things happened around the Happy House 3. Today it will be the turnip. Gregory has taken the turnip to plant it. And Gregory was at the museum. Well, let me first of all, after that came the computer phone. And it takes an hour. Folks, is it worth it? Is it worth it to spend an hour a day on the computer phone? Is it? I checked to see that the jokes went up, and they did. 1 joke a day. And I checked the weather, and I checked the Gmail. Ooh, primary was empty and social was empty. What a great thrill that was. And I checked YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitter. No, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And I checked the messengers. And then I go through 3 apps and ask Gregory to tell me what they do and see if they would help anything. And then after that, we entered the log for the museum, what Gregory did yesterday, the day before, on the museum. And we made out the last of the labels. Columns 43, 44, and 45. That's the end. And then I knew I had to telephone. There were many people to call and encourage, and be encouraged by them. And Gregory just disappeared. He showed up at the museum at 11 o'clock, and I don't think he came home until 9:30. I think he's trying to finish it, because as soon as he finishes it, he gets paid his $400, which was our contract. Did you telephone? Yes. I think 27. Delightful, stimulating, oneness calls. And then exercise the body and put up the last joke of the week for Facebook. And made a stir fry. Water into the great big skillet. Cut up Maine potatoes. They're the best. Nobody can get even close to them. Maine potatoes and let them cook. And then put in Brussels sprouts and let them cook. And then put in veggie meats. And I put in Mediterranean patties. Mediterranean patties by Morningstar Farms. All vegetarian. And they could be vegan if they would use egg replacer. And then a can of soup. I think it was broccoli. My, that was a good mixture. And I fed .com about 7 or 8 times in the day. And guess what? All the work was done. But it was 5:30 and 6, and it was alone and empty, okay, and it was rest, but it wasn't much. So you don't get a P for perfect, and you don't get 100. And that's it. That's it. It's your turn. I think it's 10 or 11 o'clock. No, it's 9:15 a.m. Ante Meridian. Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. See ya. Love ya. Keep the courage flaming. This is my commandment to you. You love one another as I have loved you. Oh, there's a happy turnip.
Just a little bit. So.
Actually, he's a rutabaker, but down Maine we call him turnips. And that potting soil is not dirt cheap.
looks good. Oh, it'll be coming right up, so let's see that. Just within just a couple days, you see how fast it comes up?
Yeah.
Quick.
They hacked him and they whacked him and put him in hot wax, and it still wanted to live.